I'm personally very excited to try this one. So this is a Bowmore, if you're from Islay, which was distilled 1984 and bottled by sort of Moon Import in collaboration with Samaroli in, when do we say, 1999. So it's kind of 15 years old. Bowmore.
This is cool.
It's cool. It's not something you're going to find in shops.
No.
You're going to find it in whiskey bars. Samaroli and Moon Import, are these sort of names that you've come across?
Yeah, certainly Samaroli now. We've tried a couple of Samarolis and just talking about, you know, the history and the lineage that comes with that and the quality of the liquid that they were buying and nobody else was thinking about it.
Yep.
When you see the bottle, you get a bit excited about Samaroli.
Yeah.
Especially, and this is more something just from doing personal research, an Islay whiskey from Samaroli. I feel like something they really built their reputation on.
Yeah.
In the kind of late 60s, early 70s, when they were kind of just starting. But Bowmore is my favourite Islay distillery.
Okay.
I was born in 99 when this was bottled.
They say you're born at Bowmore. I was like, no, you weren't.
So, quite cool.
Yeah.
It looks nice and dark, it looks rich, you know, it just looks... As soon as you put it on the table, I was like, oh my goodness, Samaroli Bowmore.
Yeah. What is it about Bowmore that ticks your boxes?
I think Bowmore is... And you know me, Laurie, but for the audience, I generally don't drink much peated whiskey. Now, when I first went to Islay, the best hospitality I ever had was at Bowmore.
Okay.
Again, I think I probably went in with a pretty negative mindset, despite being on the island, just going, well, I don't think I like Islay whiskey. But Bowmore has so much complexity. There's so much going on with some Bowmores. Again, not regarded to be a heavily peated distillery.
Nope.
I like Bowmore and sherry, like I think this is. I love Bowmore and bourbon, cask strength, OBs, independent bottlings or official. It's just a whiskey. When I see a good Bowmore, a Bowmore I've not had before, I want to try it. What about you? I mean, I'm hoping you share my affection for Bowmore.
I think there's so many legendary Bowmores out there.
Yeah.
I think from having, you know, a background in auctions, a lot of the most expensive bottles you ever see are either Macallan or Bowmore.
Yeah.
I think particularly with Samaroli as well, he had the Bowmore Bouquet, which was distilled 1966, I think, which sells for 30, 40, 50,000 pounds a bottle.
Okay, interesting.
I think in addition to that as well, official bottled Bowmore, you've got the Black Bowmore series from 1964, which are big cherry beasts. So I think that demonstrates the sort of versatility of the spirit.
And I think this is what you said, 15 years old.
Yeah.
Some of the best Bowmores that come into my mind, something like a Bowmore Tempest, something that I always like. It was a cask strength bourbon Bowmore, so very different to this. Yeah. But it was young. It didn't have to be old and complex, and I think obviously there's a lot of romanticism about old Bowmore.
Yep.
And having been lucky enough to try some really interesting older Bowmores, I do get it. But I still get excited over just something new from Bowmore. Yeah,
I feel like there has been some frustration with Bowmore for the last maybe kind of 5-10 years. Okay. So I think in the same way as people get frustrated at Macallan, they've now become this aspirational lifestyle brand, and they're too busy selling branded umbrellas than making quality whiskey. I feel like Bowmore have kind of, they're sort of on the same level.
Yeah, so I think the supply and demand isn't there. I think when you realise it's just, I do get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think, like, for example, their partnership with Aston Martin. Yeah. You think that's not about whiskey. That's not what Bowmore built its reputation on, but it's obviously become a hugely fashionable, hugely aspirational.
And I'll also say I've tried the Aston Martin Bowmores, and some of them you're like, okay, that's just for PR. But a couple of the releases, a couple of older ones have been also amazing liquid all of a sudden. And you go, okay, they're making me still buy it. They're still making me try it in these bars. So it's one of those things that I'm going back over to Islay this year for Phage for the first time. Never done the festival. And it is the distillery I'm most excited to visit. I don't know if it is just nostalgia, but I think there's down at the water in Bowmore. It's something quite special.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. I think, Bowmore is great because it can produce such great whiskey. And I think that's also its downfall is that everybody knows it can produce great whiskey, but sometimes whiskies don't quite live
that's fair.
to the potential. So this one, very excited to try.
Italian import,
So this is Samaroli and Moon Import working together. So both legendary Italian importers, independent bottlers. So
bottled at 45% as well. As I say, it looks dark, it looks shade. The label's quite funny.
The label looks ridiculous. I mean, it looks like something my 9-year-old daughter would make in art class. But I don't know, did they have clip art in those days? It looks,
1989 really wasn't that long ago.
That's true, But it looks, ignore the poor design of the label.
I quite like it. Again, I don't know.
It's quirky. But
I am going to be devastated if I don't like this whiskey.
I hope it's great.
Yeah.
Let's open it up.
Let's crack it open.
Let's give it a try.
Have you had any Islay Samarolis before? Did you kind of...
A couple. I've had a few modern ones, which were quite heavy actually, quite intense. I'm hoping this one, because it's only 45%, should be a little bit more subdued.
Kind of approachable. And it looks like
that cork is falling apart.
Lucky with the cork. Another artisanal cut to try and get cork.
Right, let's see what we can do.
I'm going to bring next time we're filming, I'm going to bring a different bottle opener because I've been struggling with this one.
Is that one with the 2 prongs?
Yeah. I'm going to be really firm with it. Okay.
Bugger.
Right, we'll fix that afterwards. So, another old school bottle. Again, it's only been in the bottle for 24, 25 years. It's disappointing that
corks are rubbish. But let's see if we can get some of this without too much cork in it. That's not bad, actually.
You've actually done okay. A wee bit extra protein, extra texture for us.
There we go. Fill you up.
So I'm sure we'll have to. So it's a bit unceremonious to just have it like a little.
I mean, it looks a bit rubbish with it cork floating in it, but never mind.
It just goes to highlight, like, it is quite special that we're getting to try these old bottlings. Obviously, people don't do this all the time.
No.
People will also maybe...
I think it also shows as well that bottles like this weren't designed to be kept for...
No, exactly. Years. I mean, this is one of...
798 bottles.
And there can't be many left.
No.
You know? So, cheers.
Cheers. I went straight ahead to nosing. What do we...
I think the sherry's quite big on this, isn't it?
I feel like there's something very distinctive about Bowmore smoke, Bowmore peatiness. I think it's such a sweet, soft smoke. Obviously, your Ardbegs and Laphroaigs can be quite aggressive and quite medicinal. Lagavulin can be quite sort of kippery. I
think there's something that Bowmore sometimes gets criticised for that I don't mind, and I think there's a little bit of in this. There's a little bit of soapiness, perhaps, on the nose.
Yeah, lavender and all that sort of
little bit of kind of smoky soap, which some people don't like. But again,
I think it smells quite inviting, actually.
I think the cask is quite influential here. Okay, let's have a wee taste. I'm excited for this. I feel so bad looking at these bottles.
That is great. I think that is Bowmore sort of in a nutshell. Tell me about it.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think really special Bowmores have that kind of tropical edge to it, and that's got some of that coming through.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's funny, nowadays Bowmore 15 is a full sherry maturation.
Like the one that used to be darkest.
Called darkest, yeah. It's so indulgent. This is obviously, before they even thought of that, it's a 15-year-old Bowmore in sherry, and it's indulgent, it's nice, it's really, really rounded. It's so easy to drink. Yeah,
I think it's a side of smokiness that I think a lot of people haven't experienced before. I think a lot of people associate smoky whiskey with, ashtrays and, asphalt
TCP
and sulphur and quite aggressive, quite, horrible sounding.
I also think if you're fairly new, or even, being whiskey for a few years, if your palate's immature to peaty whiskey, which mine is, a lot of people...
That's true. The fact that you love this says it all.
People go in with their this mindset of peaty whiskey can't be incredibly complex because the peat really kind of overwhelms their palate. I think this is really tasty.
Yeah.
That's a very funny word to say, but it is. It's just tasty. I could drink this all day, every day.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of Islay. It's exactly what I want it to taste like. You could see how excited I was before we tried it. I'm delighted. It's not like
I think it works as well at 45%.
Yeah.
Obviously, it has been
quite an unusual strength for nowadays, but that's obviously how
I think at that
they've
time
been doing it as a bottler.
They had quite a few at 45, but it gives you enough. I don't think water is necessary. I mean, you've guzzled yours. You don't need. Clearly, doesn't need water in it at all.
This is true.
I just think it's really balanced. It's got a nice depth to it. The smokiness is there, but not dominating.
Yeah.
It's not off-putting. Just a really beautifully integrated whiskey where the different elements
really nice.
complement each other.
Really nice. Great bottler. Fantastic distillery. I feel very fortunate to get to try this. Terrible label.
Yeah.
Terrible marketing.
Whoever the graphic designer
terrible
is.
cork.
Yeah.
It's still balanced out as a winner to me.
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm cheersing you with an empty glass.
I know. I think if whiskey's all about the liquid in the bottle,
Yeah.
this one's a winner. So cheers.
Cheers.